Hi, magpies. Ah, nature. Hey bees, I'm Marie from Humble Bee and Me, and today we are filming outside because I can. It's nice out today. It is in the high 20s, which, yes, I know that many of you live in places much hotter than this, but I am very excited about it. So hopefully this goes reasonably well and we are not drowned out by the bird songs of dusk and sirens or something. Also, I got a new light and wow, it's very bright and very portable, so that also makes the filming outside thing a lot easier. So today I wanted to do another video on 5 common questions, and this one is going to be all about buying ingredients. So the first question I get a lot on this topic is, what should I get, especially if you're first getting started? And this is a totally understandable question because, oh my goodness, there are so many ingredients that you can buy to make your own skincare and cosmetics. I have created a few different pieces of content, a few different guides to help you get started. The first one I want to plug is my DIY for Beginners e-course. This e-course is completely free and totally automated, so when you sign up for it, everything just kind of comes over the course of a couple weeks, and one of the first things you'll get is a shopping list, followed by 6 carefully crafted projects for you to do with downloadable PDF guides and video tutorials to help you learn how to make things, if you've never made anything before. If you are looking for a slightly longer starter shopping list, I have one in my FAQ over at humblebeeandme.com. I'll make sure to link that in the description box below, along with the course, which I do think is awesome. And if you are new to making things, I highly, highly recommend signing up for it. You can also check out the Humble Bee and Me DIY encyclopedia. If you look up an entry, one of the little tags of information I include in each entry is, do you need this? And sometimes it's a yes, sometimes it's a no, sometimes it's like a no, but it's nice to have. So that helps to give you a little bit of an idea about how essential I tend to consider an ingredient to be. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the entry on the ingredient, you'll see a list of different formulations that I've shared using it. So you start to get an idea for how useful it is and how often I use it. Question number 2 is, where do I buy these ingredients? Another super understandable one because we don't exactly see titanium dioxide and polysorbate 80 on the shelves in the grocery stores here or I think anywhere. The best place to buy these ingredients is online from specialty retailers. Now you might be lucky enough to have one of these specialty retailers have their in-person store in your city. Most people aren't though, so you're going to want to go online. On my website, on humblebeeandme.com, I do have an entire page dedicated to places to purchase ingredients, so that's a really good place to check. Something to keep in mind with these online retailers is, as much as they are specialty retailers, to this hobby, there are also specialty retailers, so you'll find some of them are more suited to things like soap and bath treat making. So Brambleberry is an example of a store that's very much more focused on soaps, melt and pours, bath bombs, that sort of thing. Or you might find one that's a lot more focused on makeup. So TKB Trading is super, super heavily focused on makeup, whereas websites like Making Cosmetics and Lotion Crafter are more on the high-end skincare kind of niche where you get a lot more sort of actives and things that can be harder to find different places. So depending on what you want to make, you may find that you end up having to place orders from several different stores as you go along and you get further into things, because not every store has everything for every sort of sub-specialty of formulation. It's also very possible that you can't find everything you need in your country. If you're American, you'll probably do fairly well, but I'm Canadian and I know that quite a few of the ingredients that I know and love, I can only get out of the United States or from other countries around the world. And I do hear this from readers and viewers as well. Sometimes you're just not going to be able to get something in your country, and that is a bummer. Sometimes you can order them internationally. Shipping fees can certainly add up. So if you have a friend that likes this hobby as well, maybe you can team up with them to save shipping costs, or perhaps you can find a local Facebook group where you can get purchasing tips and possibly kind of get in on a group order where you can share those international acquisition costs. Question number 3, how much should I buy? Because this can also be really overwhelming. You'll be on a website looking at it and they'll sell you it in everything from 5 grams to a drum. The amount that you should purchase really varies from product to product. One place that you can start your research, check out the Humble Bee and Me DIY Encyclopedia. For each entry, I have listed a suggested starter amount. It is one of the very last things in each ingredient profile. Generally speaking, for oils, I'd be looking at about the 250 ml to 500 ml range, less if it's quite a precious, expensive carrier oil, and more if it's something that you're going to be using in soap making. For essential oils, I would start with 10 to 15 milliliters or less. Same for fragrance oils. For clays, usually about 200 grams is a good starter amount. For actives, things like vitamins and ceramides, I'd probably start in the 10 to 30 gram range, though let the usage rate of the active and its price guide you. So if the usage rate is like 20%, you'll probably need more of it than if the usage rate is like 0.3%. Question number 4 is, how do I know if a supplier is a good place to shop? How do I know if they are legitimate? The first thing you're going to want to do is check out reviews. Do a search for the name of the store and reviews and see what comes up. If a store has reliably made a lot of people very unhappy, there will be a large digital footprint about that, and makes them very easy to avoid. Another thing is, have you ever heard of them? Have they ever come up in any of the Facebook groups you might be a member of? Have you ever seen them mentioned on a blog? So, have you ever heard of them? Have they been around for a while? Do people generally have good things to say about them? A really important one is, how good is their documentation on their ingredients? Are they actually telling you lots about the stuff that they sell? Because a good supplier should be providing you with things like safety data sheets, possibly some sample formulations, certificates of analysis, possibly mass spec analysis, especially for something like essential oils. So are they giving you lots of information about their product? Are you confident that they're tracking batch numbers? Because if they are, and they're supplying certificates of analysis, you should see different batch numbers on them as they get older and older. So good documentation is a huge part of determining if a supplier is a good place to shop. And as a side note, if you hope to sell your products, that documentation becomes extra important because many countries will require you to have things like safety data sheets for your ingredients on hand as part of their cosmetic regulation legalities. And then our last question is, how do I know if the products are good, if they're high quality, if they're authentic? This is a really good question, and unfortunately kind of a hard one to give a good answer for. When it comes to things like white powders and white pellets and liquid oils that you've never worked with before, you can read all the descriptions you want, but when you're trying to just assess if it's high quality or if it's even the thing you hope it is, yeah, that can get really tricky. The best thing you can do is make sure you are shopping from suppliers that you trust, and that goes back to our previous point. And again, a big part of this is documentation. How much can they tell you about the ingredients that they are selling you? If you're buying shea butter, what country is it from? How was it processed? If you're buying an essential oil, is this cold pressed or steam distilled? What is the shelf life? What's the batch number? This is important information, and if you're not getting that from your supplier, that starts to get, a little dubious, possibly. Putting a ton of information about the products you sell on your website is a time-consuming process, and smaller businesses might not have the manpower to get all that on their website and still get orders out the door, so this is not a absolute guaranteed thing. But usually websites that do provide that information are good. In the absence of that information, you could try contacting their customer service and see how that goes. Are they prompt? Are they knowledgeable? Or is it just a black hole? Be wary of dubious claims made on websites about the ingredients that they're selling. It's one thing to say that, lavender oil smells nice and is calming, but if you start reading claims about it possibly curing cancer, probably shop somewhere else. When it comes to buying essential oils, I really do recommend avoiding MLMs. The essential oils sold by MLMs are always substantially more expensive than essential oils sold by companies like New Directions Aromatics, and they don't come with the documentation that we're looking for. They're also usually accompanied by quite dubious claims about their magic powers, and I really find the business model to be very predatory and just, yeah. Okay. That is it for this video on 5 common questions about buying ingredients. I am planning on doing more of these videos. I've already got a pretty long list of topic ideas brainstormed, but if you have a topic that you'd like to see addressed in one of these videos, please put it in the comments below. I would love to hear your suggestions. So thank you so much for joining me here on my porch on this beautiful summer's evening, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.